the important step is to ask the students, ask them what type of things you'd like to see in programs. I don't know that this is an untapped resource or not. I've had a couple of conversations with a couple of students today, and they want to chime in. They want to offer suggestions. They want someone to ask them what they think. And I think it's incumbent upon us to do that. And then we execute whatever the program is, but you have to have an evaluation tool for it. If we are in a program that has, which is popular nationwide, Stanford University, ETY, is a math program that the student can sit at the computer and take lessons on, okay? And it'll gauge your success, and at the end it'll give you progress on that. So what we do is look at that and see how much is being used and how effective it has been, and literally evaluate that. So if you look on the system and determine that it has been used, somebody gets a phone call and says, hey, you're not using it. So we can simply put evaluations in place and make sure you follow up and follow through.
How do you plan to address the school discipline crisis, where students are increasingly pushed out of their schools and into the criminal justice system, mainly through over-reliance on zero-tolerance policies?
Two things. I think first we have to look at why students are misbehaving. My experience has been most of the time in the classrooms is because they are not appropriately academically challenged. Okay. So what I mean by that is if it's too hard, then they're going to act out. If it's too easy, then they're going to act out. Okay. So we have to take a real close look at why. The second thing is, this is how I think we address it. That's long term. Short term is, I think we look at what the number one discipline problems are. Use the data, and the data speaks to us. So if it's tardy, if it's skipping class, if it's, let's go there. If it's drug use, if it's high rate of truancy, then we have to apply interventions to that place. We have to use the data to help us determine what the real problems are, not just a shotgun approach. So if there is not one, we have to institute a system that really shows us really clearly what the data and what the offenses are. They can vary from one end to the next. And then you'll find prevention. So if it is a truancy, then we get the truancy department involved in that, and professional school counselors also, when the student comes to school, then we need to have a conversation with why you missing school. And when they find out, like I found out before, that I'm just at home by myself. That's why I can't make it to school. I'm just at home by myself. So what I've learned is sometimes the quick and easy answer is not always the best answer. The quick and easy answer is, well, just suspend it. Put them out. Go. You don't want to be here and get out. You need to write it on the paper and send it home. The problem, though, is just like the NAACP report, which has priorities in several cities in this country, one of them, Jackson, Mississippi. If you start to do that, they're going to go somewhere. If they're not in school, they're going to be somewhere. And you know where they're going to be. Now, I'm coming from the heart of some tough spots, y'all. So what I'm using, the vernacular that I'm using, maybe kind of coarse and tough, but it's using. So if it's not in school, it could be jacking your house. So the suspension was warranted, right? Why don't we figure out what's wrong with safety? We've got there two components people put in place that have to identify what's happening. But that's how you protect this. Is you use the data to speak to you and then apply the information.
Will you hire the best candidate for a position and do away with politics? Politics has destroyed Jackson Public Schools.
Sounds almost like a question inside the question. But you know, the obvious answer is yes, do away with politics, absolutely. But the proof will be in the pudding, right? You want what's best for your child and the student, correct? All right, then we will hire what's best for that child and the student. Now, my wife's from here. I'm not from here. I've been here many times because she's from here. But part of my walk that I've been less than half here is a life of integrity. Doing what's right, regardless of its popularity. And let me just let you in on this one. This is publicly documented, so it's from my current district. I try to be respectful from my current district. When I walked into where I am now, we discovered some very serious things going on. Let me just put it out there. These two employees that were working with us were very well connected in the system and in the entire county, actually. But they have been found doing things that have anything in business to do. And in the good job kind of thing. And it was a decision that I had to make. I had visitors from the Attorney General, I had visitors from two very affluent politicians in the area. I was told some things that gave me pause. So I called my wife and said, I don't know that. But the decision has to be made. So at some point or another, you just have to stand on what's right. That's what it is. And that has to be sometimes at all costs. And the rest is let's still have that kind of stance. So politics, I'm not a politician, but I know politics. I know players. I know where everybody stands. That's part of the role of the superintendent. But it doesn't come to play when we're talking about hiring good folks for our children.
Dr. Gregg, please share with us your philosophy of school management and respecting lines of authority. Please share with us your philosophy of school management in respecting lines of authority.
School management, respecting lines of authority. I think I understand the question. To me, respect of the protocol when it comes to issues and challenges within a school.
I'll just read the question again.
Okay.
Please share with us your philosophy of school management in respecting lines of authority.
Okay. As superintendent, I allow principals to have a great deal of autonomy. Just like the school board allows superintendents the opportunity to learn. Okay. So, now, why is that so tough? Because the tough part is you have to make sure you have the right person in the school building. I think that's where the question is going on. So that's part where I come in and step in and say, are you the right person for the building? And no qualms about it. I moved principals because they didn't fit. So, principal runs the building. And my job is to make sure it's the right person running the building. So I don't have to run down here every other day for stuff that the principal should already do. So I respect that level. When I get calls in, I call the person. I got to call them. All right. So, your job to fix that. So, fix it. Sometimes I ain't ready, but I ain't. But you know, in all seriousness, though, that's what you need, right? You want to know that your child is in good hands all day long. And I will make sure of that. I think that's my understanding of the questions.
Okay. Some of the questions are an extension of comments you've already made. So we'll take this one. What is the role of parental responsibility in public education?
Okay, so the parental responsibility in public education is for you to hold us accountable. I can go on. You need to hold up. That's what parent impact proposal is about. All right. Hold me accountable. Hold everything accountable. Every single day.
Dr. Gray, question. What do you see as the greatest challenge facing Jackson Public Schools? What solutions do you plan to initiate to address these problems? And why do you believe these solutions will deliver success?
That's a three-part.
Yes, it is. Let's start with the first part. What do you see as the greatest challenges facing Jackson Public Schools? What solutions do you plan to initiate to address these challenges?
So, I wish I could answer it really quickly, Dr. Wilson. I see two parts of this. I see the philosophy, the perception of what the Jackson Public School is, and then I see what does the data say the challenges are. Okay. So let me just go where the data is. I think I've talked a little bit about philosophy already. Maybe I mentioned a little bit together, but the data says what I've seen as fault lines, of course, is what we've all read. Special education department has some challenges, middle schools have some challenges, and graduation rate about 10% below the state average, 20% dropout rate is about 10% above the state average. We have numerous challenges to meet. So each one of those challenges has a set of responses. But all of the responses generally are the same. You got to dig into what the problem is. So if it's dropout rate, we already talked about that. You don't wait until the child gets to high school to figure out if they're going to drop out. You catch them in third grade with early intervention system. That's long term. Short term is ninth grade academy in high school. So that's how you address it. Every fault line has a set of protocol followed to address it. It's succinct, and so the beauty of it is that it takes time. The beauty of it is this. Once it's in place, then it flows. No question. You say dropout rate, 22%. I say put this in place, put this in place, put this in place. 3 years from now, you said dropout rate is 18%, but let's fix this and tweak this and move that dropout rate is below the state standard. In 5 years, you're going, okay, because you put it in place. So it's really no different from any other than, but I think there's a third part.
Well, the third part was, I'll let you decide whether or not you answered it or not, but why do you believe these solutions will deliver success?
Well, we don't have to believe it, we will know it, because the data will speak clearly.
Question, how do you plan to work with teachers' unions and professional organizations?
Well, we will establish regular monthly meetings have a very good relationship with teachers and coaches. So the groups, I know Jackson's represented by the AFT. I think I'm going to share with you all how we address the issue with teachers. We have a subway suit. Subway suit. Okay, so twice a year, we randomly select a set of teachers to come into an office and a lot set up a lot like this. Okay. So it's the afternoon, it's after school, so it's not really supper, but it's supper time. So we have cookies and punch, water, coffee. I take my jacket off, I roll up my sleeves, and I have a notepad. And we write. I said, just come on, talk to me. What's wrong? Boom. And I was a bit amazed by it because a lot of what's wrong just needs to be articulated. And once it's articulated, it feels like it's going to get solved. So in other words, just listening to people say something, especially our teachers, it seems to help. But we take the list. It's just me and teachers. And the reason is that I don't use names. I randomly select teachers so that they don't feel like when they go back to their building, somebody's going to be after them. I used to be a teacher too. So I know that feeling. But we take the list, and sometimes the list is 2 or 3 pages. But the next staff meeting, especially the next cabinet meeting, we're going through the list. Teacher said that the computers don't work. They said that I keep having to send little subject back to the office. We start to pick through all of the items. And believe it or not, once you get to the end, there's a whole other set of items. But the fact of the matter is that the teachers have come forward. So that's how I work with the organizations. I work with them face to face, hand in hand. We have multiple conversations, very accessible, because that's the only way to get to work.
We have just a couple questions left, and then we'll give you a couple minutes to have some of the statements. Is there anything you'd like to add to the question of specifically addressing the needs of a district the size of JPS? What plans do you have to specifically address the needs of a district the size of Jackson Public Schools?
The number one thing that the superintendent that I would need to do is establish collaborative teams and embody and communicate leadership. No one person is an island. But in order to get this work done, we got to work together. There's going to have to be some hand in hand and walking down this road together. So in a system, the answer to the question is we establish collaborative. Let me just give you an example of what we will do. Okay, so we will create what I call cross-functional teams. This is in order to support and improve student achievement in schools. We would select 4 or 5 people from throughout the campus, from throughout the central office, and give them the pad, piece of paper, and a walkthrough sheet, and have them walk through and take notes of what the principals need and the teachers need, and also what instruction is going on, and what the building clean, is it need painting, is technology up to par. We would use a person from each of the departments to create cross-functional teams and go out into our schools. That's the way we do this on a system-wide level in a system this size, is to create support teams, collaborative supportive teams that go out into the school on a regular basis. We don't want you to have to come looking for us. We're going to be out there helping you in the school.
Okay. You may now take 2 minutes to make some summative statements.
Okay. No, just do 2. Just 2. The one question I keep hearing is, let's put it on out there. One question I keep hearing is, you come from a small district, how can you manage a large district? I have been, in the last 2 years, in Fayettetown Street, almost 4,000 students. Prior to that, I spent almost 15 years in a system of 115,000 plus students. My entire foundation has been laid in a very large, very urban student body. So, a natural step from someone who's gone from a very large district and feels like they're being called to lead another district is to actually embrace the role of superintendent in a place that's large enough that you can grapple the rules and gain the skill set of being a superintendent. I am a superintendent. This role, coming to Jackson, really requires somebody who is familiar with and intimately familiar with the intricacies of the position, because the learning curve is so short. You really need somebody who can hit the ground running, not having to learn the superintendent. Because there's going to be meetings, especially here in Jackson, meetings with everyone from Governor Phil Bryant all the way down the spectrum. And you got to know how to embody the vision, communicate the vision, and create collaborative teams that have done it. Now the advantage that I've had, working a very large system, 115,000 plus students, and then coming to a smaller system to earn my craft, to really shape the craft of the superintendency, is this. As a superintendent, I've had my hand on, in a smaller system, I've had my hand on everything. Literally printing off green bar paper to sign POs and check the accounts all at the same time. I have literally touched every department and actually done the work. Because in smaller districts, one person does 8 jobs. So I know every role that has to take place. So we'll build a team knowing that I know what that team member is supposed to be able to do. There's no doubt about it. I think that can public schools need somebody who is ready to hit the ground running. And I think that through the grace of God, I think that I am ready for that. I thank you so much for your attention this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Wood. All of you have some forms that we would like for you to fill out, and please leave those forms with us. We're going to collect those forms, and the board is looking forward to reading every single word that each one of you write. So on behalf of Ray and Associates, thank you all for coming out, and hang on 1 second.
I'll just add my thanks and fill out the forms as before, send them to the end. We've already copied that first set. We've got 700 and some copies for the board to read. Each board member will get a set. All right.